Yes.
Fish head.
Trout fishing is red hot at Collins Lake. Check out these awesome rainbows my clients have landed this fall. Join me on the FHS pontoon boat and learn my proven methods for catching more and bigger trout up close and hands-on. To book your trip now, go to fishhuntshoot.com and we'll be yelling fish on. Collins Lake, baby. Man, oh man. Howdy guys, welcome back to the channel. I have a viewer question to answer from a guy named Marcus, a young man named Marcus down in Livermore, California. Marcus told me that he likes to fish at Lake Del Valle a lot. He fishes power bait off the bottom. Sometimes he casts Castmasters and spoons, stuff like that. He's a bank fisherman. And he said sometimes he fishes with a bobber, and he does pretty well with salmon eggs under a bobber, power bait under a bobber, and night crawlers under a bobber. But he asked me if you could fish artificial plastic worms under a bobber, and the answer is absolutely yes. Let me give you a few notes on that, show you how I do it. This will work at any lake. What I have here are a couple of my Trout Trix worms. Super versatile. We fish these in lakes, we fish them in streams, we troll them, we fish them under bobbers. They're just super versatile. You can use them for tipping spoons. The list goes on and on. You can find these at fishhuntshoot.com. Trout Trix worms. But anyway, let's get back to bobber fishing. Got a couple of our worms in different colors, pink one, orange one. And I have a rod here set up with braided line, a spinning rod set up with braided line. This is one of my Penn spinning reels. And we are rigged up with in this case, it's not a slip bobber, it's a pegged bobber. The bobber stays in place. We can move it up and down the line, but the line doesn't slide through the bobber. And I've got probably a 30-inch leader leading down to a bait holder style hook. So let me pull a little line here and show you how I would put the worm on the hook. Okay? Now, because you're gonna be presenting this vertically in the water column, you want maximum movement from that worm, which means you don't want to put the hook, just at the head end of the worm or at the tail end, and you certainly, don't want to gob the worm up on the hook bluegill fishing style. What you want to do is you want to lightly insert your hook about probably a third of the way down the worm from the head end, and just start to skin hook that hook into the worm like that. You can see I'm hooking it very lightly, just like that. You want to work that hook down the center of the worm a little ways, just like that, and go ahead and pop that hook point out. You want the hook point and the barb, if you're using a barbed hook, exposed, and that's what we call a wacky rigged worm. As you can see, that worm, both ends of that worm move, they jiggle around. It's got a great profile, it's got a great color. You can apply some Procure to it or whatever your favorite scent is. We love Procure, the super gels, they last forever, especially in cold water. And to just scent that worm up, and what you're gonna do, when you cast that worm out, you're gonna let it sit, it's gonna drift around, it's gonna be horizontal in the water column like that. If you jiggle your rod tip and move that bobber a little bit, guess what? You're getting a lot of movement on that worm. You might want to retrieve it a little bit, let it set, retrieve it a little bit, let it set. But as you can see, you get a ton of movement on that worm. And here's a trick rigging that we like to do that will add even more attractiveness to your offering. Let me take this worm off. I think I'm gonna rig up a pink one next, but here's what I have. I have a power egg. This has got that great power bait scent. So go ahead, take your power egg, put it on the hook, nail it right through the center, up the shank it goes. And to keep this in place, ultimately, you're gonna put it over the eye of the hook right there, but I'll do that in a second because I wanna be able to hold that eye. So I've got the power egg in place. Now I'm gonna put the worm in place, same rigging, same wacky style rigging. It's working that worm onto the hook. I'm popping the hook point and barb out like so. Now I'm gonna get this egg up on the eye of the hook, just like that. Now you've got the scent of power bait, you've got that power egg on there, you've got the movement and the profile of the worm. That is a dynamite combination. Now, it's gonna work best in water that is clear, you know, to somewhat stained. I don't know that you're gonna go out and have a lot of success doing this in super muddy water, just because the fish can't see it from a distance. But like when Lake Pardee opens, when Lake Del Valle clears, you know, the East Bay lakes, anywhere where you have decent water clarity, that is going to be a trout killer. And it's fun to fish. It's an artificial. You're not fishing a natural worm. They're gonna grab that, it's soft, it feels real. They're gonna hang on to it, bobber under, set the hook. You're gonna be smiling. You're gonna be having a good day down there at Lake Del Valle. I will catch you next time right here on YouTube, guys. And if you're looking for any kind of trout gear, including our Trout Trix worms, go on over to fishhuntshoot.com. I'll catch you next time from out on the water. I'm Kel Kellogg. Thanks, guys.